The trick isn't to watch the walls, but what's hiding around them. I hear the snick of fishing wires and pulleys and follow them to a rotating mirror. I step through the mirror and into an alcove. It's 2/3 closet, 1/3 living space. Modest comforts shunt aside for gizmos, props, and costumes. Worldly posters paper the walls while a packed bag with a one-way ticket sways on a hook. It's signed to Sweetheart. Not a cheap trip either. Would monthly dues be enough to pay for it? I run the numbers as I flip the mirror and return to hell. I follow the path upwards and ascend back to Earth. As I catch my breath, I scan the crowds journeying in and out. No sign of Red Scarf. The boarded-up attraction doubles as a haunted house. I wait for a lull in the crowd, push away a loose board, and vault inside. Dust and aged wood stifle my every breath, but I don't dare sneeze. I'm not alone. Amidst the shadows, something like a pale arm hangs around a corner. I wait for their move. 30 breaths pass. No movement, not even a twitch. Slowly, I exhale and ankle around the corner. I give the mannequin's arm a pat and continue the search. I give the crates of knickknacks a cursory look. The interiors are filled with old junk, except for an old souvenir cup. Someone probably didn't realize how much collectors would pay for a bit of nostalgia. The attraction's a cluttered, dark mess. Anyone passing through wouldn't have much room to move. I soft step around debris and find a dirty footstep over a wire towards a tarp. I pull back the tarp and find a little hideaway. A bag, a compact mirror, and sheet music rest upon a makeshift mattress. I find the explanation in a half-written note. It's a familiar story scribbled in a shaky hand. Some kid apologizing to Mom for the fight and running away to seek her dream. The final half's a scrawl of raw, angry, sad words blacked out in dark ink. Sounds a lot like a certain missing girl.
Mr. Harry told me what you did. Thank you so much.
Look, I didn't do much. All I did was talk to the guy.
Mr. Harry
Look.
Hello. Interest you in a souvenir photo with my pal Jack? Only a nickel per snap.
Sorry, not here for any monkey business. Heard anything about a missing girl? Brown hair and green eyes. Her mom's looking for her.
Sorry, miss. Haven't seen a girl with brown hair anywhere.
Not a single brunette? Not even the kid holed up in the haunted house?
We get a lot of runaways. We don't ask questions. And neither should you.
Done up in clown makeup and armed with a triangle, the man stands like a barricade. If the girl's with the circus, they aren't giving her up, no matter what good intentions came with the ask. I met your king earlier.
Sweetheart? How about this high, the Prince of Thieves himself?
Yeah, a real character, huh?
He's always been a little that, if you know what I mean. But the kid's all right. Handy with a broken fence or a doe.
Anything I should keep my eye out for?
Depends on your poison. You want thrills? Can't beat a visit to Hell's Gate. You want something exotic? Jaeger's Beguiling Beasts is that-a-way. Oh, you got some lucky lover? The Topsy Barrel's an excuse to get closer. Or you can take a photo with my pal Jack.
What the hell? Why not? I'm looking for someone in a red scarf. Seen them?
Sorry, miss. I'm on shift. Please keep your questions related to the carnival.
Hey, you know Sweetheart?
Me and everyone on Coney Island with a set of orbs. Don't tell me. Are you his latest fling? Did he sweep you off your feet and promise to take you to see the sights?
No, just doing him a favor. He asked me to get his shoes back.
Oh yeah? Did he tell you what he did to deserve it?
Something about the carnival being short on their dues.
No surprise the weasel left out some details. I only took his ugly shoes because he was handling the money when it disappeared. He can have them back when I get the cash.
So, he shorted you?
Mm-hmm. He said he's paid it all up and that some act of the universe must have spirited it away. He couldn't even resist pretending to be the new accountant while he said it to my face.
Say I wanted to take those shoes off your hands. How much would it cost?
Honey, you can do better than these gaudy things.
Let's just say I'm looking for something I don't care about getting mud on.
Fine. It's your money.
The devil's arms spread.
There you are. Any closer to retrieving my shoes?
So, I was looking around Hell's Gate. Found a room with something interesting.
Now, hold on.
His smooth voice breaks into a yelp with my approach. He's caught along a ledge without wizardry or honeyed words to help him escape. You got in a tiff with the dough because the carnies were short on their dues? Where'd the money go, sweetheart?
They're in my shoes.
And I was supposed to be your mule.
I can explain.
Then talk fast.
Yes, you got me. I'm leaving. But it's not about the money. I've been the king of the carnies for a long time. And it's been nice, but when you look at a map, Dreamland's rather small. So, why not disappear? Leave the park one more mystery to fall in love with, funded by the Dreamland Does.
Knowing there's lettuce lining a soul or heel, maybe I'll regret not holding on to them. But we'd made a deal, and Here, just tell me what you know and get out of town.
You're the real sweetheart, Miss Snoop. Not just anyone would give up information like that. Tell the wrong person, and you would have seen me strung up on my very own tower.
Don't tempt me. Now.
I know, the information. But I want to give you something else as a token of my affection.
He digs around his pockets, jingling what sounds like a collection of keys an Aether might be jealous of. He finds what he's looking for and tosses me a strange-looking key.
Just promise me you'll take care of her. I can't take her with me. And she needs a new home.
Thanks, but now I really have to go.
All right. Carney Code says I can't name names, but I can tell you she's a sweetheart too. A bit naive, but who isn't at that age? She's trying to find herself, and I hope she does. You'll find her at the boardwalk. And Miss Snoop? Go easy on her. She's just a kid in over her head.
Sounds like Apollo's leak. Better get over there. Thanks. I'll try. A step off the midway, and the world becomes grayer. Absent of rides, absent of crowds, absent of all light except a lone lamppost. The fog throws a gloomy veil over the boardwalk. The clock tower silently ticks in the distance. 15 minutes until the meet. I let the fog roll over me as I slip behind a wall, waiting for a spot of red. The clock tower's a silent sentry overseeing the proceedings. I wonder if Red Scarf and their mysterious buyer are hanging on its next toll, too. 2 figures. The only red around one of their necks is a smear of lipstick. Their faces go even brighter when they notice me and make a getaway down the walk. Below the railing, waves dance along an artificial strip of sand without a trace of footsteps. Doubt Red Scarf's coming up that way. Footsteps approach. Red wool paints a splatter across the white-gray cloud, leaving a crimson trail in her wake. It stops at the bench as she sits and waits. The bells start loud. We sit up, prepared to move, but we're alone. The bells fade and the air grows colder, but the buyer doesn't come. We sit up, prepared, eyes forward, stance relaxed. I sit and wait. The leak's not going anywhere, and the mastermind's still out there. If I hold out, I can get them both. Minutes pass. I count exits, shapes, and ticks on the clock. Nothing changes until the next bell.
That's long enough.
I hear a click of a gun pressing an icy brand against the center of my back. My throat squeezes, caught in a vice as the muzzle propels me towards the bench.
Your work's done, Missy. Best you were on your way.
The girl runs. Faced by an icy, scarred nightmare, I don't blame her. I'm frozen. A half step away from a bullet and a drop into Coney's waters. But the shot never comes. Why aren't I dead? What do you want, creep? If you're looking for Nellie, she's not here.
Oh, the Reinhardt job's in other hands. I wanted to chat. Off the clock. Professional to professional.
A chat? You've got a gun on me. The pause is like standing foot over grave, teetering until he yanks me back with the snap of holstered iron. Dufresne takes a spot on the bench. A heartbeat later, he gestures to the open seat. If Dufresne was going to shoot me, he would have done it already. I sit face to face with the scarred-up black hat. You set this all up.
You're sharp, aren't you?
So why the underground? Needed another job between terrorizing kids?
You think they're who this is about, smuggler?
Liquid metal flows off his smile. We might not be trading blows behind a windshield, but he's still a monster playing with his food. He's a patchwork of battle scars. From the missing ear tip to the jagged lines, it's clear he's had no shortage of scraps. But there's something more terrifying than bloodlust behind his gaze. You're here for me.
Looks like you pick things up quick. Saves us both time.
A file comes down on the bench. My heart nearly kicks through my ribs. My name, my history, my darkest deed, all spelled out with a few sheets of paper and Valentine's death photo.
The Underground's nothing special. Another ragtag posse aiming to change the world. Seen a dozen like 'em. Expect I'll see a dozen more. Only thing of note is their connection to you.
So you use them to get to me? Why? Dufresne frowns, gloved thumb rolling slow circles along the grain of the bench.
I don't usually encounter someone so often. Made me curious enough to start rooting around.
Giovanna 8-Shot Rondazzo. Smuggler. Familiar to Astoria Bay and its info broker. Notable work includes the Ruby Hare, the Peacock Gala, and others. The rest, well, best heard from the horse herself.
Looks to me like you've done plenty of homework. What more are you expecting out of me?
Newspapers and third-party testimony only paint half the picture. And if you talk, I'll return the favor.
Fine, let's talk. You can start with who the hell
Not so fast. Let's talk terms. My past employers and their intentions for Dr. Reinhardt are off the table. You want answers, you gotta earn 'em. Question for a question. Oh, and my time's limited, so you best pick wisely.
How many questions do I get? A watcher above sounds off another solemn bell.
Until the next bell. Flip for first question?
All right, fine. Tails. The coin whistles through the air. It lands a perfect arch in the palm of his hand. Tails. My shoe itches. I might not know what Dufresne's planning, but I've got questions burning holes at the back of my mind, and not enough time to ask them all. The underground had given me a job. There wasn't a leak, but they'd still expect something. But this was between me and Dufresne. I ask myself, if I leave something unanswered, which one? So you don't have any interest in the underground?
None. So long as they stay out of my way.
All right. Then how the hell did you get into their network? Dufresne's slow smile resembles a beast with a mouse. Proud, assured, and well aware that the claws could come down with the drop of a wrist.
Simply know where to look. Groups like them leave their tracks all over the city, and the underground scares easy. Just needed to control where they'd leap. Told them I wanted information. Gave them an offer good for 5, and 4 letters. The rest, well, you can imagine.
I could see it as clear as a dart against a bullseye. The underground must have flipped over everything to find the 5th letter. When it didn't turn up, it wouldn't be hard to assume who had it and why they'd need me. Seemed pretty sharp for a hired gun. Might have made a half-decent detective.
Suppose I might have. Always had a knack for tracking things down. People, intel, personal effects. Shame it's too late. People like us don't retire quiet in this line of work.
One question down. Satisfied?
Good enough. So, tell me, what was worth chasing me all the way to Dreamland? He leans forward, arms resting on his thighs, body stretching like a shadow under the turn of the sun.
What were you before you became 8-Shot?
Why would you care?
Lot of stories about 8-Shot. These days, a lot less about Giovanna Randazzo. You used to have a tighter name for yourself, didn't you? And wherever Alfonso Randazzo went, Giovanna Randazzo was sure to follow. Think you were happier a sparrow in a flock than a hawk flying solo?
The answer hurts, pressing on a still healing wound. I can still smell his cologne and the way he'd sweep me into his stories with a wave of his hand.
Always dream big, Principessa. Even when you fail, you still impress. How did she get out will make your name as powerful as how did she do it.
He wanted me to give him a run for his money. Had a pricey bottle set aside for the day I'd strike out on my own. We never got to open it. Yeah. Best damn years of my life. Had more than a good name. I had respect and a good crew. Used to feel like I could take on the whole world.
Must have been nice.
Surprised you'd think that.
There's worse ways to spend your better years. Shame they weren't meant to last.
Are you done?
Your turn.
So, why are you so interested in me?
You've been a pebble in my shoe.
Feelings mutual, pal.
Expect we have more than a few in common. You're professional, don't like to lose. And you've got pride, even when saddled with a cause you don't believe in.
Uh-huh. You'd know all about me with your fancy ride and clothes.
I know what it's like to grab the devil's hand to survive.
His glove picks at an exposed sliver, stripping away thin layer after thin layer, flick by flick.
Used to be a barony man. A mistake happened. Got me cut off. Stings, don't it? To lose everything that way.
But you came back from it.
Mostly. I know I'm not getting into heaven. Not all of us can afford wings. Can you?
I take a moment to absorb his answer while I brace for his next volley. So, what's next? If you're looking for dirt on my school days, I never went.
Interested in something more present? Rather hear about the job. Expect you know the one. Word is, you let things get personal. Traded the client's cargo to save a man. Was one man's life worth another?
The Valentine job changed my life. I still think about how it could have been for the better if only I'd made one in a million different choices. I could have picked another route, could have swapped jobs, could have talked to Valentine alone, could have not grabbed Needles' hand. He was my crew. I couldn't leave him.
And that was enough for you. Damn all the rest.
Screw you. You weren't there. I never asked for what happened.
But you know now. Still think you saved him. Knowing you were picking between your sweetheart, your reputation, and your family.
My answer clangs against my teeth. I want to say I made my choice. Instead, I see a pair of pained blue eyes asking why I saved him. Shut it. About the girl in the red scarf. She...
You only got a few questions, smuggler. Be ashamed to waste one asking after used gods.
Look, Dufresne. The girl's face is plastered on posters, and her mom's tearing her hair out. All I want to know is that you're not going to shoot her after this. The black hat leaves me guessing. I'm seconds away from threatening him with a trip over the railing until he shakes his head.
The little miss was a one-off. Found her busking at the amphitheater. Dropped my request along with my tip in a basket. No direct contact. No sense in killing her. Expect she'll be back there. If she doesn't find more trouble on her own.
The distant clock hand closes in on the bell. Dufresne breathes slow and calm, deciding where to place his final shot.
Losing the cargo wasn't enough to ruin you. You could have stayed clean. All you had to do was walk. But you loaded that revolver. You fired that final round and never stopped. Not till they were all dead. When it was over, what went through that pretty head of yours?
I feel the shots reverberate from my fingers to my ribs. I'd needed 8 shots for Valentine. By the time I finished with the rest, I'd used enough lead to mold a coffin. All because I couldn't accept a world where Valentine got to live, but Zio didn't. Realized it didn't fix a damn thing. I spent a year pulling myself up from the bottom of the barrel. For what? To lose it all to a warmonger with a cannon?
Makes you mad, doesn't it? And how many did your rage put down?
How should I know?
Enough to lose track, then. I've met enough like you. They kill until it becomes instinct. Until every threat deserves a bullet. Keeps going until the day someone puts the bullet in them.
His words hit like a rain of icicles, nearly shattering my control. My tongue moves to skewer him back, but I wasn't the only one who'd taken damage. His mouth set in a grim line. Sounds like you're speaking from experience. His fingers begin a slow, meditative roll, matching the beat of the black waters below.
I had a job go south, long time ago. My then employers needed someone to blame. They lured me out, beat me black and blue, and trussed me up for the underline. Didn't even pay my last fare before they threw me over the edge.
How did you...
Lost some skin, then clung to the rope and dragged myself up. Took days before I saw Surface-Side. Don't remember much after that. Not until they were all dead.
Doesn't sound like it fixed things.
Didn't do anything. Made no difference if I killed them or not. The world didn't stop turning without them in it. Only thing that changed were the faces at the top.
The city loves its tyrants.
That it does. The barons are only the tip.
Valentine was replaced within a year. White Street's in civil war. I can only guess what Dreamland will look like when Marm's gone. For a moment, the gray world loses its tint of gloom. The smell of salt water, the soft glow of the lamppost, and the chord of shared silence. It makes my shoulders itch. When did I lean forward? Easier to keep your guard up when you're facing a shadow with a gun. Maybe that's what makes me risk a final question. You might be off the clock, but this is a lot of effort for a chat. What's your deal, Dufresne? I watch his form flicker and change, from monstrous shadow to a man of uneven shoulders, an aimless bloodshot gaze, and parted lips that have no words. The bell tolls, ending our parley at the quarter hour. The black hat stands, liquid metal streaming back into his posture and step.
I'll be on my way. Best we don't meet again.
Wait, that's it?
No. Got something else for you. This part is advice. Something to chew on. People like us don't change the world, Randazzo. We survive it. Be a shame you had to die because you didn't learn when to walk. And don't try to follow.
Dufresne steps into the fog's shadow, leaving me with only scraps for answers. None of it explains who his boss is, what their plans are with Nellie's research, or what's got me on edge. I curl my gloves around the bench and force myself still. I'd done Apollo's job and gotten out of it with intel. I wasn't going to risk a bullet for more. The last trace of his silhouette vanishes. I lean back, steeping in his words. They taste sour. I don't need some creep in a black hat to tell me what happens when you stick your neck out. The Underground's already got enough would-be heroes for that, and I'm not one of them. The walls of fog begin to thin. Shrieks of delight and happy foot patters penetrate the silence. I take that as my cue to go. Better let the Underground know how things turned out. Halfway down the boardwalk, another face emerges from the fog. Another poster for the missing girl. Dufresne said he found her at the amphitheater. The mom's worried sick and burning her savings on washed-up detectives. Better she knows her kid's still out there than trapped in a tunnel somewhere.
Oh, hello again.
Got a lead about your daughter. She's a busker at the amphitheater.
Busking? Why would she... Oh no, for Pete's sake, she was serious.
Serious about what?
Rosie said she wanted to be a singer. Something about feeling more comfortable when she acted like someone else. I told her people like us don't.
Regret colors her face in pale shades.
Never mind. Oh, thank you, miss.
I don't know their story, or whether it ends with a heartfelt talk and a hug, or a more permanent falling out. But maybe someone will get closure today. My crew's waiting where we last met.
Gia, did you find anything?
I found something, but it's not what the Underground thinks it is. I'll tell you on the way. Apollo said to look for the shop between the golden flowers. I find a sagging shop ringed by a sunflower mural and give it a knock. The door opens. A dim lobby and a young Aether are there to greet me. She ferries me to a cracked door and a pair of muffled voices.
You want to know why you'll pull it off? Because those jumped-up fat cats won't see you coming. Now give yourself some credit. The plan's solid, old sport.
Apollo's contact perks up, soaking up the rays of praise. Apollo Diamond the movie star might draw adoration, but Diamond the leader makes you want to prove yourself.
I won't let you down, sir.
Good. Now chop chop. Those repulsors aren't going to jam themselves.
With a boost from on high, Apollo's contact exits the opposite door like he's ready to take on the world. Only once he's gone does darkness shudder across Apollo's face.
You didn't need to come, Apollo. You're wearing yourself thin. Not to mention the risk to your cover.
And what good am I in a shadowy room, eh? And speaking of wearing ourselves thin, how's that retirement plan coming along?
It remains a work in progress. There's still too much to do, and the well needs fixing. And after White Street, Cressa and the others need support.
That's the tricky part, isn't it? Something's always on fire. Suppose it keeps us busy.
There's a pressure behind those words that flattens the room. Apollo's demeanor dims while Sam roots still. And I'm about to add another load. I knock and enter. Am I interrupting something?
Not at all. Thank you for looking into our situation on such short notice.
How'd it go? Did you take care of it?
No, Listen, your network's safe. There wasn't any leak. The pressure tilts my way, threatening to drown me in questions. I could tell them everything, but it would also mean admitting who Dufresne's real target was. I'd either be giving them an honest report or a loaded gun. It's a risk, but I tell them everything. The setup, Dufresne's mysterious employers, and his motives. Each sordid detail feeds the fire, tempering a controlled rage across the matinee star's face.
Wonderful. You've got a stalker. Well, can't say any of mine have been so useful.
You're holding it together better than I thought you would.
Oh, I'm livid, darling. A stone-cold killer got the drop on us. He knows how we work. We can't let that stand, Sam.
Hang on a sec. What about the heist? Marm's birthday's right around the corner.
She's right. This man and the ease he got through our security is a concern, but we must have neglected the fires burning in front of us.
The reminder releases a valve. The pressure eases, releasing fury and tension to make room for purpose.
Well, that settles it. Gia, darling, you know your marching orders. Rob Marm, pay Killmeyer, and get Nellie that core. Sam and I will look into this Dufresne fellow and who he's working for.
The leak might have been a fake, but nothing's stopping Dufresne slipping back in and leaving something nastier than a letter.
It may be difficult to wall him out entirely, but measures are already at work. We will be relocating drop boxes, pairing all contact, and thanks to you, distributing a description of the culprit.
Not a difficult fellow to identify. Black hat, facial scars, and ice-cold eyes. As villainous as they come in the pictures.
Sounded like you two were already running ragged.
Comes with the territory. I can read 2 scripts, film a sponsorship, and jet around on a pot of coffee. Surely I can squeeze in a manhunt somewhere.
I have many islands to check in with. I'll ask around. Perhaps the Aetherians or our mutual friends may have heard something.
How are you going to do that? Dufresne's a professional. You don't pay his kind of confidentiality fee unless you've got steep pockets or serious skeletons to hide.
We know a few outside specialists. However, their services will not come cheap.
Still cheaper than a Bronson something or other. Good thing I have a new picture coming out. In the meantime, great work, Gia, darling.
The yacht is a declaration of wealth and power as subtle as a boot to the throat. It's a world I have no business setting foot into, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Let's just take a stroll over here, shall we?
Sophie plucks at my elbow and guides me to a section of the deck that has been roped off previously. It's as private there as it's going to get, concealed in deep shadow. Sophie fishes a leather valise out from the shadows. She dutifully stands in front of me, blocking the leers of any looky-loos before handing me my new skin.
Your gown, Cinderella?
Sophie's picked out something elegant that's also businesslike. Putting it on is like entering a world of privilege I've never known. I can feel my face flush as I change, even in this private corner. So, what do you think?
Yes, that should do. Good work on my part if I do say so myself.
Why do I need a disguise?
Marm has pulled out all the stops for tonight's little soiree. Which means we need you to look presentable. Goodness, girl, what did you do to your hair?
I washed it.
Cute. Let's run a brush through it and touch up your makeup. You should dress up your speech a tad, but not too much. Business, my dear. That's the key ingredient to this ratatouille.
My favorite flavor. Look, is all this cloak and dagger stuff really necessary? All the charm and levity drains out of Sophie's face like water down a storm drain.
You know what you look like right now, Giovanna? You look like a bum from the hole. A smuggler and a criminal.
All I'm saying is...
You're not from this world. I live in it. You want to play cowboy and do it your own way? I wish you luck. You want to get things done? Put on the clothes and plaster a smile across that mug.
So what's my cover?
Your nom de guerre for this evening is Miss Fiorella. A young shadowbacker in various unassuming lowers businesses. You're looking to expand your investment portfolio.
Won't I stand out?
You're a smaller fish than Marm usually deals with. But she has a soft spot for ladies with an enterprising nature. So remember, tough, but with table manners.
Got it. Pat yourself on the back later, Soph. Klossner's definitely showing up, right? Will he have the blueprints with him?
It's a certainty. I requested that he bring them specifically for the purpose of modeling a replica cake of Pandemonium for Marm's birthday. She does love her sweets, the old dear.
That's all well and good, but I'll need to get close to him to nab those blueprints. Otherwise, this is all for nothing.
Relax. It's a cinch. Klossner will be on stage as a part of the docking speeches. He's the one with the round frame cheaters. When he bellies up for his turn, go through his things. As easy as quiche.
Shouldn't that be easy as pie?
I'm showing off tonight, remember? Pie is so... common.
Well, ooh la la to you too. All right, enough horsing around. What are you up to during all this?
Being Marm's shadow. I hope you won't require my assistance, but if the situation grows desperate, I can run interference for you.
Hoping I won't need it. This situation is eggs and coffee. See you there. Party is in full swing. Haves swapping stories about screwing over the have-nots, enjoying success now that they don't have to bruise their own knuckles. Some guy in a penguin suit passes by, so I snatch a flute of bubbly to steel my nerves.
Are you enjoying the music? Wunderbar! They can play anything from Wöhler to Toscanini. They're worth every penny. But I get them for free. Their brother owes me.
Not for the first time. I wonder why I'm always making deals with the devil. One devil with many different names and faces, who's sure to catch me one of these days.
A little bird told me that he saw one of Marm's little helpers gallivanting around town with the comptroller. A married man! Is there no shame anymore?
Look, I can't help it if I'm on a hot streak, buddy. Don't get sore with me. It's the cards what made a monkey out of you.
That egghead's a lost cause. I bring him a business proposal, and that crumb treats me like a church lady collecting for war orphans.
Pardon me, miss. You look like a worldly woman of taste and discrimination. Tell me, do you find yourself more drawn these days to dining out or to taking in a good show?
Sorry, are you asking me out on a date?
Perish the thought. I'm not from the lowers. I was hoping to gain your opinion so I can make an informed decision. I'm looking to make some new investments.
The Lowers is practically run on Burroughs-style fish and chips. You set up a storefront and get a cook who knows his business, and you'll see a return by the end of the year, guaranteed.
Fried fish. A Burroughs recipe, you say? Forgive me, but that makes no sense. Aren't the Burroughs all but abandoned by this point? Why would I cater to them?
Look, people didn't leave the Burroughs on a whim. The street kids moved house, but they still ache for a taste of home. A fish joint in a burg full of expats could clean up.
A fish joint. I see, you make a good point. I should do some more research. Thank you for your time, miss.
This looks like the door to the stock room at the back of the bar. There's almost certainly heavy foot traffic from the staff. So if I want a drink on the house, I suppose I'll have to get creative. I snatch a half-empty bottle of an aggressively mid-shelf wine from the nearest empty table and strut up to the door with all the swagger of a peacock on parade. The barback answers the door, squinting at me with annoyance. Guess he's not used to dealing directly with customers, which makes this the perfect time to lean on him. What the hell is this? Do you really think the Duke is going to drink this swill?
The Duke?
The Duke of Old York is on this cruise. We ordered top shelf, and if this is it, you can bet his lordship won't be booking with you the next time he crosses the pond. The barback ruffles his hair nervously, shuffling through a few bottles before emerging with an elegant black bottle covered at the top with burnished gold foil, hugging the neck like a tuxedo collar.
Here, on the house. Please convey our apologies to his lordship.
You know, I had the most charming dish the other day while I was out with Rodney. I've never seen the like. Apparently, Burroughs-style street food is all the rage these days.
Pardon me? Oh, pardon me, miss. Do you have a moment for a conversation? T.L. Watkins. I write biographies. The Venerable Baron has commissioned a story of her life in honor of the upcoming anniversary. I would love to hear any anecdotes you'd care to share.
I've heard a few things.
Leave out no detail, however salacious. Just as long as they don't get me killed.
Ever heard about the love of Marm's life? Bet you haven't.
That's a new one. Certainly, Marm has been seen around town with a gent or two, but everyone knows she's never settled down.
He was a poor kid. No one knows what barony he came from. He pulled himself up from nothing, worked his tail off, all to make a home for the two of them.
So what happened next?
That's the tricky part. Some say he was shipped out during the war and died overseas, or he passed from the wasting. Some say he was killed to warn Marm off. Whatever the real story is, they all end the same way. Marm would never love again.
Who knew Marm was capable of such heartrending devotion? What a tragedy. Beautiful in its way. Who wouldn't be moved by such a story?
The second the words escape the author's mouth, I know the answer. Marm wouldn't. She tore her heart in half and learned to do without it. I take it you've already heard of the Hackthorn disaster?
Who hasn't? An entire ferry liner carrying migrants from the Burroughs into the Lowers crashing into an island? Why, Marm herself was on board the General Hackthorn, if memory serves.
I wait for his brain to catch up to his mouth. He already knows everything I could tell him about the subject.
Oh, poor thing. A young Magdalene, emerging from the wreckage, surviving despite the odds, growing up with nothing, finding a way to thrive on the dangerous streets. Truly inspiring.
Did you get a good look at Marm's silk wrap?
Now that you mention it, that's a Juno scarf, isn't it? As exclusive as it gets. Even the well-heeled in the uppers can't get their mitts on one without connections. Are you saying...
Look back in the archives a few years, and you'll find that an Aether freighter carrying Juno's seasonal line was hijacked before Fashion Week. Marm had that nifty piece a few days later.
I see. My, Marm has...
With a sudden thought and a burst of speed, the excited biographer begins to scribble rapidly.
Her shadowy hands looming just over the city, plucking at invisible strings. That's good.
Hope there's something there you can use. If you don't mind, I'm going to see about refreshing this drink.
I can't thank you enough for these leads you provided on Marm's life story.
Don't mention it. Really, don't mention it. I'd like to continue my own life story.
Hold on just a moment. If you like well-written pieces, this is the article that actually attracted Marm's attention.
The hack hands me an article printed on high-quality, glossy paper like you'd see in a fancy arts rag. The article paints Marm as a genteel patron of the arts. Convincing, unless you've actually met her. The second half of the article is about pandemonium and its design. A lot of words like incandescent and revolutionary are sprinkled throughout. There's a quote by the man himself about the need to ignore distractions in pursuit of one's art. Classy. Interesting. Thanks.
If it isn't the redoubtable Miss Fiorella. Hello, darling. Isn't this party wonderful? Shall I set you up with a fresh drink?
Sophie, nice venue. I see our hostess didn't cheap out on the liquor either. A Class A act all around, if it weren't for the other guests.
Yes, business sometimes makes unpleasant bedfellows, doesn't it? At least the men have the good sense not to act ungentlemanly in public. Marm takes a dim view of such behavior.
Friends and colleagues. Now, to Sterile.
Softly, I approach Anton Klossner, the architect of Pandemonium. Like any good man-tinkerer, he can't help but toy with his speech until the very end, so he doesn't notice me.
Criminal hooligans and grubby investors. I do hope you're enjoying yourselves at my employer's expense. That would be fun, but no.
Near his feet, I notice a worn but expensive buffalo leather satchel, just about the right size for a set of blueprints. But now's not the time to make my play. I just take my seat when Marm and her entourage step out in front of a waiting audience.
Good evening, my friends. I've enjoyed a fine life in the greatest city in the world. I enjoy the rule of more than 100 islands, but I've always had a special spot in my heart for Klein Deutschland. In those days, my youth was my armor. I took a pack of girls from my orphanage, and together we formed what would one day become my beloved dolls. The Mädchen would never be hungry again. In the course of my business, I have made firm friends with people of all walks of life. Let's all give a hand to one of those friends, Mr. Killmeyer, honorary citizen of the barony.
The crowd's attention moves to Killmeyer, who is sprawled out over a couch in one corner of the audience. He raises his champagne flute sourly, knowing the light won't move until he responds. For a heartbeat, Killmeyer and I make eye contact. Should I play it smooth, or tweak his nose to remind him of our deal? I can't help myself from shooting Killmeyer a flirty wink. He gracelessly spits out a mouthful of his champagne onto his trousers with a surprise. I love this job sometimes.
Now, don't worry yourself, my good friend. You no longer have to forge your path alone. Look!
Surrounded by waves of cheering, I try to keep my mind on the job and on watching Klossner, but I can't help myself. The applause dies down abruptly as everyone follows Marm's eyeline.
Behold, my friends, behold the future!
I see Kilmire's island glowing brightly. My stomach drops. The island looms ever larger, coming towards us. Ponderous, inevitable. I want a better look, but it's too far off. One of the guests at my table has a pair of opera glasses hanging halfway out of her purse. They're not much, but they might be enough to give me a clearer look at the approaching island. Between the approaching island and Marm's presence, it should be child's play to cover the opera glasses with a napkin and deposit them into my lap without being spotted. I purloin the glasses smooth as silk and raise them to my eyes. I get a better look at the shining aura surrounding Kilmire's island and curse under my breath. Those repulsors are augmented with red Aether. I should tell Nellie right away. Kilmire clutches his champagne flute so hard I expect it to shatter like the bits of foundation crumbling loose from the island. A long silence descends, followed by a smattering wave of applause.
Friends, bear witness. We will usher in this marvelous land of tomorrow with the designs of the one and only Anton Klossner, designer of Pandemonium and countless other works.
Klossner stands halfway up from his seat, his forehead dripping with sweat, thick and pungent with fear. He favors the crowd with an airy wave, but he walks like a man about to face a firing squad.
Yes, thank you, Marm. We plan to remake Kleindeutschland with new marvels, in the spirit of our previous works.
Klossner seems drunk on his own brilliance. The applause dies down. Carefully, I circle around to where he was sitting. All eyes are glued to either the stage or the new Dreamland annex. I sidle over to the architect's abandoned bag and dive inside with both hands and sift through loose papers, pens, small bottles, but there are no blueprints in the bag. None at all. The architect's abandoned bag and dive inside with both hands and sift through. Frantically, I dig deeper. I find schematics for some kind of Aether device. I'd need Nellie to make sense of these. There are no plans here, but they have to be here. They have to, or this is all for nothing. I'm starting to panic when a loud whisper startles me in the middle of my search.
Say, what are you up to under the table there, little lady? Did you lose an earring?
I'm going to vomit. I'm airsick. It sounds fishy even to my own ears. Luckily, this stiff's had a few.
Oh my. Just stay there, lady. I'll go find a guy with a bucket or something.
The partygoer scurries off, not wanting his suit ruined. Even so, I've been made. I get up as soon as his back's turned and glide away as inconspicuously as possible.
Thank you, Anton, for your exciting and thorough presentation. If any of you care to discuss business with Mr. Klossner, do visit him at his table. Otherwise, please enjoy yourselves.
The venue is buffeted with laughter and applause as Marm leaves the stage. The band strikes up again, and soon, adventurous couples begin to dance. I need to find Sophie, now.
So, how did your pitch go? Did Klossner bite?
He listened just long enough to laugh in my face once he found out who I'm working for. The bastard! My boss is gonna have my head if I can't get Klossner on the payroll.
I don't have more time to talk down to you, so let me be perfectly clear. Even if you had all the money in the uppers, you couldn't afford my services. Your project is pedestrian, uninspired, and unworthy of even a sliver of my attention. I'd wish you a good evening, but frankly, I don't care how your evening goes.
So, how did your pitch go?
He listened
There you are. Did you find the package?
No dice, Soph. No prints. No sign of them anywhere. You swore he would have them. What the hell happened?
Giovanna, I'm telling you. I heard Klossner and Marm talking about the replica cake just before. I know he has them. You must have missed something.
I practically disemboweled that satchel. You said this guy never leaves his house. If we don't get the blueprints tonight, we're sunk. Could he have stashed them somewhere else?
I suppose it's possible, but I can't say for sure. Marm would know, but she's busy being the life of the party.
In that case, we'll have to go to the horse's mouth. Can you get Klossner alone?
I'm supposed to be watching Marm's back, so that's not the right play. Maybe I can set him up. He's the nervous type. Frazzle him and he'll go off by himself somewhere. I'll need your help to make it work. Find me someone I can tear into. I'm going to make a scene so big that Klossner won't be able to handle it.
You're not going to fit some poor chump for a Chicago overcoat, are you?
Gia, we might be a lawless bunch up here, but give me a little credit.
Is this really necessary, Soph? Can't you just ask him to meet you somewhere out of the way?
We have the same employer, but he doesn't work for me. If I ask him to meet here, someone will find out and I'll have to answer for it. It wouldn't look right. Trust me, this is the right play.
While we're at it, what's Killmeyer doing here anyway? I'm surprised he bothered to show, seeing as how Marm cut him off at the knees.
It's tradition to keep the old Baron around when someone gets annexed. Trust me, even if Killmeyer hates Marm like poison, he'll want to stay on her good side. Still, you want to be a good pick for our little plan. Marm's watching him like a hawk to see if he falls out of line, which, let's face it, he probably will. Besides, he has a reputation as lousy company.
Okay, you've convinced me. Who's our pigeon?
Find someone whose inconvenience won't keep you up at night. Look around. It won't take long to find someone obnoxious or gauche or about to step into trouble with Marm.
Yes. Papa's gonna buy a new pair of alligator shoes. Why don't you just save time and hand your money over now, you crumb bums?
I roll the sweet champagne over my taste buds as the loudmouth uses both hands to gather the pot. The dealer pauses before dealing again. I stare at the player's hands and wait. In the blink of an eye, I see a card appear in his hand. I didn't catch a flick of the wrist or any of the other classic signs. Something shifty's going on here. I keep my ears peeled as another hand comes out. This time I hear a slight brushing of metal on cloth, and I instantly know his racket. Yep, there it is. A wire sticking out from his pant leg. Nobody's going to miss a cheater at a gaming table, least of all Sophie. Looks like I've found a sacrificial lamb. At the bar, I spy a well-dressed boar waving around a hefty bottle of booze. He's red in the face and 3 sheets to the wind, and trying to make time with a powerfully uninterested young lady.
Go on, dollface. This is Primo Giggle Juice. It's my pleasure. Enjoy it. Think of me when you take a snort.
That's very generous of you. But I had another drink in mind. Have a nice night, okay?
Oh, come on. This isn't just regular old liquor store brandy, see? They just don't make a batch of this once every 10, 15 years. What do you say?
Oh, look. She looks like someone who knows from good booze. Say, what do you like?
I like a nice snort of Hendrick Select myself.
Cheap whiskey. Forget I asked.
Baby, you're far too good for bathtub swill like Hendrix. How about we try out a little of this splendid stuff?
You know what? I'm still not sure what I want to order. Actually, it's getting late. I'm not in the mood for a nightcap. Take care.
Wait a minute, come back. I was just saying. Now, why'd you have to go and do that? I'm telling you, she was just about to crack.
Right. Sophie was right. It didn't take me long at all to find someone I could hang out to dry without feeling a bit bad about it. I leg it before I start to look good to this creep.
So, how did your pitch go?
You listen just like...
A group of ladies speak in loud whispers about all the goings-on. I peg them as a gaggle of gossips, trading information to get ahead, to get out from behind, or just for the fun of it.
And if that was his wife, I've got a bridge to sell you. Excuse me, do I know you?
I'm Fiorella. Sorry, I wasn't aware this was a private table.
Very funny. But unless you've got something juicy to share, you might want to move along. This seat's for talkers.
You want a little ammunition? I can pick out anyone here wearing a cheap knockoff from 100 paces.
100 paces? How rugged. Well, let's see it.
Back before everything went to hell, Needles and I used to spend our time in the Raymond district pointing out counterfeit duds. That ought to impress these sharp-toothed witches. See the redhead with the gent in the marigold cravat? That gown's a copy of a Benar original. The buttons in the back? Glass. The real deals are mother of pearl.
Seems like Lady Osmond's sugar daddy must have fallen on hard times. Oh, excellent. Do it again.
Maybe later.
How delightful! Come, sit down, have a drink. We have much to discuss.
I clench my jaw and sit through a seemingly endless stream of pap. Who's cheating on their taxes? Who's sleeping with whose husband? After what feels like hours, something interesting crops up.
Marm certainly knows how to throw a first-class shindig. In fact, one wonders how she's able to take care of business and still find time to plan such grand parties year after year.
You might want to keep your voice down.
Will there even be a next year? A little bird told me that Marm had another health scare. Did you see how Miss Sulzer had to help her up the stairs from the stage?
So, have you seen that new Apollo Diamond feature? No? Maybe we should go see it right now. What do you think?
Say, what did you all think of that speech that Klossner fellow gave? He seems like a fascinating gent.
He might be brilliant, but he's terrible company and has no civility whatsoever. He called my uncle a caveman and told him to go pick fleas off his wife. I practically fainted. I shouldn't say this, but I saw someone put the frighteners on him earlier. Klossner was trying his luck at blackjack, and a sharp-dressed man approached him. That gas-bag architect turned white as a sheet and as good as ran away to cower behind Mom's entourage. I laughed so hard I nearly started to hiccup.
Just between us, I can see you've got your thumb on the pulse of this party. Anything interesting happen here tonight?
I saw Councilman Jacobs making time with his campaign manager's daughter behind the kitchen. Let's see. What else? Oh, stay away from the poker table with the red and black felt.
Oh? Why is that?
Apparently, a young man at that table has been raking in quite a bit tonight. Mrs. Johnson says he looks just like Tommy Bonneville, a notorious swindler. But I wouldn't know. I don't read crime rags.
Those doughs are something else, aren't they?
Have you heard the latest dish? Alice is making time with, get this, Apollo Diamond himself. Can you believe it? A screen star paired with a notorious criminal? What is this world coming to?
Think I've raked enough muck for tonight with you lot. Thanks for letting me cool my heels.
Come back when you've got more muck, as you put it. You know, on occasion, these rougher nouveau rich can provide some benefit to society.
The gossips and delicate remarks about Marm's health are all the reason I need to point her out to Sophie.
So, Gia, did you find me a fall guy?
Sophie, the guy at the card table. Spied him using a Keplinger holdout.
My. Fearless flyer. Let's make an example of him, shall we? Right, I'll get to work on our mark. Why don't you kick back for now? Get a little rest. Take in the show. Just keep a close eye on Klossner. We don't want to lose track of him.
Sophie turns away, and in a blink, she's checked her hair, touched up her makeup, and adjusted her skirt. I can't tell if she's enjoying herself or just showing off. Maybe both. The card sharp keeps a boyish grin on his face, radiating a pure innocence. Sophie's hand shoots out like a piston, clearly exposing the rod and cable of the Keplinger's holdout running up his sleeve. In no time at all, his hands have been bound and he is deposited by the goons onto a small platform attached to a pulley, hung high above the yawning abyss.
Attention! Please allow me to introduce tonight's entertainment. This is Tommy Bonneville. You might recognize him from his winning streak at the poker tables. Say hello, Tommy.
Hi, folks.
Splendid. Since Mr. Cheat enjoys games of chance, he will play a very special game. Based on one of Marm's favorites, Russian roulette. The pulley just behind me is paramount to the game. Regard this platform upon which our contestant stands. Regard these 2 ropes. One rope is unattached, and cutting it will have no effect. The other will release the platform when cut. Here's where you come in, friends. You, the audience, will choose which rope I cut. Left or right. One will ensure our contestant's safety. The other helps our friend enjoy the night air.
Something about this smells funny to me. I edge closer to the platform to get a better look at the pulley mechanism. The 2 ropes are knotted and obscured in different areas. My eyes follow the line closely, and I can't help but grin at Sophie's cleverness. Neither rope, when cut, will drop the platform. It's a ruse.
So what will it be, folks? Left or right?
Left.
Right.
All of a sudden, I'm glad I didn't pick some random sap for this punishment. One of Marm's goons walks forward and hands Sophie a polished scimitar, its honed edge gleaming in the moonlight. Sophie takes the weapon in her left hand, blade facing towards the night sky. Theatrically, Sophie plucks a single hair from the contestant's head to test the sword's sharpness. Sophie's really playing to the crowd. They're eating it up. Left! My voice rings out, blending with the audience's. Sophie waits just long enough to play the crowd, then turns to the left and slashes the rope with no more hesitation than I would use to swat a fly. I see the blade part the rope, hear the line giving way. I see the contestant's mouth distend in an expression of utter horror, a blood-curdling scream ripping forth. Sophie's grin is broad enough that I can see every one of her front teeth, shining like cut ice. She's having a great time. The platform plummets. By 10 feet, no more. With a pop and a bounce, the platform springs back up, the contestant sprawled out across its spare surface. The cheat lays prostrate, his hands folded. From the low drone of his voice, I can tell that he is praying. Tears splash from his cheeks.
Darling, shh. Relax. We were just having a little fun. Of course we wouldn't ruin such a lovely evening with an execution. Thanks for being such a good sport. Folks, let's give our contestant a great big hand.
Wild cheers deafen me as the crowd voices their approval of the stunt. With surprising care, the audience members take the contestant into their waiting hands. In the meantime, Marm and her escort have made their way to where Sophie still stands by the swinging platform.
Sophie, Sophie, my beautiful, brilliant Haitian. Just look at those smiling faces. Now, let me take care of you for a spell. Clyde, Giuseppe, bring my good girl here a warm drink and a chair.
Thank you, Marm. You know what's best. Like always.
I've just sprawled in my seat with a plate of hors d'oeuvres when I spy Klossner pushing through a crowd of revelers. Now's my chance. I cram a canapé into my mouth and stride across the lawn. Klossner is here, relaxing in a comfy chair. He's writing in a large leather-covered notebook and humming quietly. He looks almost serene. Barbells, ropes, even a gyro wheel have been set in one corner as a sort of exercise center. The does probably work out here while Marm relaxes with a drink. I take hold of one of the smaller weights. The wrapped grip is perfectly sized to my hand. The pool is completely full and spotlessly clean. It must have cost an arm and a leg to maintain this area. Eli Tillinghast is probably spinning in his grave. Watching from the entrance, I catch a rare glimpse of Anton Klossner at rest, alone with his thoughts. He looks up and murmurs to himself constantly, in fits and starts. He pauses to write in his notebook, then taps his pen once against his teeth before writing in a heavy hand, as if through carbon copy. The pen scratches are audible from here. Mr. Klossner, are you not enjoying the party?
Who's that? Oh, it's just a... What do you want? Please leave me be.
I'm sorry, Mr. Klossner. Anton, if I may. That was rude of me. My name is Fiorella. I'm an investor. Nobody special, really. I just wanted the chance to talk to you about your work.
Just another little fish looking to make yourself into a shark, growing fat on the chum of my designs. Can't you see I have no interest? I have more money than I can ever spend.
You misunderstand me, Anton. I'm not here as an investor. I'm here because I'm a great admirer of your work. I had hoped to tell you how much you've inspired me.
Oh, an admirer.
Your designs are not only beautiful, but practical, built to last. I'd be willing to bet that, barring disaster, your buildings will still stand just as firm in 500 years' time.
Of course they're built well. You think I'd lend my name to just any ramshackle hut, disposed to blow away like so much straw? Stick to investment. You bore me. If you'll excuse me.
Okay, I admit it. The truth is, I don't know how to express how I feel about it, but I can't stop thinking about Pandemonium. I remember first stepping into Pandemonium. I was overwhelmed. I had stepped into a perfect corner of a perfect world. The facade, the art, the lighting, everything felt significant.
An honest answer. I have the same feeling. My life is a struggle to surpass that work.
But how did you come up with it in the first place? I've always wanted to know how it began. Will you ever publish your sketches or blueprints, or donate them to a museum?
Impossible. I can never share the blueprints for Pandemonium, because they no longer exist, except in my head. Marm had the physical plans destroyed. Recently, in fact.
Just like that, all our plans are flushed down the John. I've got to pivot somehow to get the information out of Klossner while he's here, in the flesh. I see. How are you finishing the rebuild without the blueprints? That must be quite a challenge.
The answer, my dear, is patience. It took time, care, and my direct supervision. Mom was in touch with me constantly, but why are you so interested in the blueprints?
Klossner's eyes slide off my face to the door beyond. I have to act fast. I need to play this just right. Klossner's a know-it-all, so I slump my shoulders in a defeated posture, kowtowing to his superior intellect. Okay, you got me. I'm not an architect, but I want to be one more than anything. I want to get out of the investments game and go to school as a full-time student.
You're not the first aspiring architect to approach me this way. In fact, there's no shortage of them.
That's why I wanted to see the plans so badly. I've been practicing with my own sketches of Pandemonium. See here. I pluck the journal from a bemused Klossner's damp hands, rip out a page, and set to work. From memory, I sketch out what I remember. The foyer, the grand hall, the main stage.
Hold. Your notation here is incorrect. That door doesn't lead to the kitchens, it leads to a security checkpoint. You see how the bottleneck makes armed intrusion all but impossible?
My pen flies across the page as fast as I can manage. Klossner keeps up a commentary, correcting this and suggesting that, until I am holding a rough but detailed sketch of pandemonium in my lap. This is marvelous, Mr. Klossner. Oh, I can't thank you enough for your guidance. Please, is there any more you can show me?
Young lady, allow me to share the first rule of professional conduct. If you do something well, never do it for free.
Come on, Mr. Klossner. Doesn't it wound your professional pride to see such an imperfect version of your work sketched out this way?
My dear, there is only one real metric for professional pride. Dollars and cents. Anyone offering to pay you for a job with pride or exposure is a liar and a charlatan. Young lady, don't push me. A professional never betrays their best client, and Marm would be well and truly upset if I violated her trust.
I seem to remember reading an article where you were quoted as, what was it, freeing yourself from distraction so you could refine your art? Isn't teaching the ultimate act of refinement?
Oh, you're clever, I'll give you that. Yes, I did say that, and yes, I meant it. Let's take another look at that sketch.
Klossner doesn't take the pen himself. He guides me with painstaking exactitude, having me do the line work. His instructions are so definite, I feel like a precision tool in the hands of a genius. The minutes pass by a blur. By the time we look up from my work, we have a near-perfect blueprint of pandemonium. Will you look at that? I'm shocked out of my reverie by the echoing sound of the docking horn. Klossner springs into action, placing his effects fastidiously into his valise.
My dear, I have to leave. I yearn for the solitude of my studio after such a strenuous day of personal interaction. Thank you for the conversation. It was new for me, particularly after seeing that card player's punishment. Dreadful business. Miss Fiorella, I bid you adieu. I hope that you have learned from our interaction, however brief. Make me proud. I wish you the best of luck with your future endeavors.
Mr. Klossner, I'll treasure it always. Auf Wiedersehen. I hang back, waiting patiently as the partygoers shuffle aboard their ferry in various states of inebriation. I take a good long look at the sketch. It feels good to beat the odds, just one more time. How's everything going down here?
It's going fine.
Doesn't sound like it is.
I love my work, Gia. Almost everything about it. But sometimes I just wanna... I don't know. I've been staring at these formulas so long that all the stereoisomers look the same.
I offer Nellie a vacant stare. What?
That would have killed back at the lab.
Nellie slumps over her desk, her hands almost melting into the surface. She's exhausted, and not hiding it well. I don't know what she's working on, but I know it's important. But working tired is a good way to make critical mistakes. Nellie needs a break. Hey, kid, get rid of the frown and come on. You ever been to the circus?
The circus? We're going? What should I bring? What does someone bring to a circus? Peanuts, I think? I don't have any of those.
They should have some there, right? Are we going right now?
Are you in the middle of anything important? On her desk, a glass vial bubbles with blue liquid over an open flame. Nellie's eyes follow mine, then her face screws up into what she clearly believes is a convincing poker face.
Oh, nope. Let's go.
Finish up what you're working on and we'll go.
Oh, fine. Hi, Gia.
Came across this.
This is great. Exactly what I was needing. I think I can now finish this little side project I've been working on. I'll leave something for you in the steamer trunk when it's all done. Let me know if there's anything I...
Hey there. See ya.
Back so soon.
I found some things that are more...
And pray tell, what diamonds in the rough...
What can you offer me?
This is something I can move with ease.
What can you offer me?
I suppose this could be considered.
What can you offer me?
I already have someone in mind.
What can you offer me?
I already have someone in mind.
What can you offer me?
I suppose this could be considered unique.
What can you offer me?
I'm sure I could find a collector for something like this.
That's all.
Looking for something in particular? So long.
Hello again.
They ever catch you bombed the Hippodrome?
Not yet. No.
Giving Mar more...
Yes. See you soon, darling.
Need something? See ya.
Ah, Miss Randazzo. Take care out there.
Good day.
Look what the cat dragged in. Be careful out there.
A decent place to rest after spending a day at the circus. And a decent place to sit and have a snack, judging by the sealed packet of jerky someone left here. Huh. Looks like a fully stocked concession stand, but nobody is here. Could be it's only open during performances. And there's a candy bar just sitting on the counter. Nobody's watching, so I might as well. I hear people say they're terrified of clowns. I've never really understood that, but I suppose if the clown was that large, I'd be cautious.
It's not acceptable. You solve it now, or I'm shutting you down.
But where will the animals go if I shut down?
A butcher's block for all I care. You're causing problems, and you're going to fix them if I have to say it again.
I understand. Please, forgive me.
Handle it.
A fancifully dressed man stands despondent before a group of shrieking monkeys. It's the kind of contrast one normally only finds after a night that's stretched on too long.
Gia, look! Monkeys! I've never seen them in person.
Mm-hmm.
Can we?
All right, but be careful. Those monkeys don't seem friendly.
What am I? Oh, hello. Are you here to see Jaeger's beguiling beasts?
Ooh.
I take it you're Jaeger? My friend here wanted to see your monkeys.
Ah, but it isn't showtime yet. Of course. I don't know if the show will go on.
He slumps a little. So, are you a performer?
I am many things, madame. Performer, explorer, caretaker.
Nellie squeals in joy. One of the monkeys has grabbed the edge of her dress and seems to be trying to pull it off her to little effect.
Tamer and, trainer.
That's a lot of responsibility for one man.
Oh, but I am no normal man. I have been to the jungles of the Amazon to see the verdant tree frogs. And I have captured a Siberian tiger with only a butterfly net. I am the great Jaeger.
The monkey clutching Nellie's dress shrieks angrily, clearly upset that she hasn't surrendered it. Nellie's smile falters, and Jaeger deflates.
Animal tamer.
That woman you were talking to, Pearl, what did she want with you?
Ah, yes. Mistress Pearl is responsible for this part of town, and all the businesses here. It seems there might have been a minor noise complaint.
Nellie has crouched slightly, making a funny face at the assembled primates. Several turn to face her.
It was all a misunderstanding. You see, it just takes a little time to train. She will see my prowess on the stage, and all will be forgiven. I'm certain.
What was the noise complaint about? The monkeys scream in rage at Nellie. She stands up quickly and almost falls backward, clearly unaware that monkeys could scream in rage. So was I, for that matter.
These capuchins are just being a little difficult, is all. My animals came from a distant zoo, you see, and they are not all cooperative. But they will learn.
Do you train wolves? I don't know where that question came from. A vague image of glowing canine eyes flashes through my memory. A dream?
Funny you should ask. Normally, no. But I recently acquired one. Piteous beast that it is.
Piteous? Nellie reaches out a tentative hand to pet a monkey. The animal tamer gestures a quick wave of warning.
Please, miss, you should not attempt to touch the monkeys.
As Nellie pulls her hand back, one of the animals snaps at the air where her fingers were. She looks aghast and stares at her hand as though the teeth had gone clean through.
This I can deal with. But the wolf, It came to me in terrible condition. I would be surprised if it survives the night, let alone joined me on stage.
What's wrong with it?
They told me it was some sort of miracle wolf. Witch wolf. Aether wolf. Nine. Just a sick wolf.
Is this wolf around here?
Yeah. Just over there. In the cage.
Nellie, have you had enough monkeys for today?
More than enough. I'd like to go, please.
Nice to meet you, Jaeger. Good luck with everything.
Luck? Ha! I don't need luck. I am the great!
One of the Capuchins has somehow found a shard of glass and is pointing it at Jaeger as though holding him at gunpoint.
Put it down, or I swear I will.
Let's go. The thing in the cage looks more like a fur coat dropped on a wet street than a wolf. It doesn't move as I approach. It doesn't even appear to breathe.
Is it alive?
I don't know. I'm no expert on wolves, but I don't think this one is long for this world. The animal's fur is falling out, and its skin is gray and sallow. Obscured below the fur are violent patches of purple. Someone has lashed the beast, and it clearly wasn't interested in taking orders.
Oh, poor thing.
Whether by some uncontrollable pity or some other innate urge, I reach out and try to comfort the poor creature. My hand nearly reaches the cage, and Nellie raises her eyebrows. I steel myself and let my hand pass through the bars. My fingers reach the wolf's shoulder, and I feel its warmth under the coarse fur.
Gia, the wolf! Be careful!
It's all right, Nellie. It doesn't mean me harm, doesn't it? How do I know that? The beast looks directly into my eyes, and for a crazed second I think it's speaking in a low whisper. I lean closer to listen.
What was that?
Did those hellions come this way?
You mean the monkeys?
Of course I mean them. Who else?
Off in the distance, a cloud of smoke rises from the top of a multicolored tent. A child's voice rises in what might be a scream, or perhaps a shriek of delight. Something tells me to look in the opposite direction. Down an alley, a painted wooden ball rolls by at high speed, knocking over several wooden crates and spilling their contents. Tiny blurs of brown follow. I think I might have seen something in that direction.
Violent dunk! I should say, there's the beast.
I glance back. It's gone. The cage is closed but empty, as though the wolf was never there.
But it was just here.
She's right. It was here moments ago. In the distance, another noise erupts. Then, the sound of a woman's voice, like a klaxon.
Jaeger! Damn you!
Of course she's back. Look, it goes without saying, but we can't have a wolf running around free. Can you look for it?
You want me to go looking for a wolf? What am I supposed to do when I find it? I'm no hunter.
You said you saw it, yeah? Then you saw that the wretched thing could barely move. Just find it and come tell me where it is. It can't have gotten far.
He has a point there. I doubt the animal has strength enough to run, let alone fight. It should be safe enough to follow. Okay, I'll see what I can find.
Thank you. I'll be hiding.
Jaeger jogs off in a different direction than he came. Now, where did you get off to? Now, how on earth did you get out of a locked cage?
Maybe it wasn't locked?
I doubt that, but it's worth checking. There's not much to see here. Wisps of fur litter the cage, and an unchewed cattle bone in the corner tells me little. Nothing to suggest how it escaped. I examine the lock closely. Getting the obvious out of the way, the door is closed and the cage is locked. We're not getting in and nothing is getting out. But there's something else. There's a scratch on the inner edge of the keyhole, like it was picked with a penknife, or something else thin and sharp.
A claw?
You're saying the wolf picked the lock? That seems unlikely. Someone must have opened the cage for it.
But we didn't see anyone.
We did not. Here are the crates the monkeys knocked over. A cracked lid on one tells me it's full of booze, and the owner nowhere to be seen. A trash can toppled on the ground. Bits of discarded waste are scattered to the wind. I look closer at the strewn garbage. A hot dog wrapper, a torn purse strap. But there, by the edge of Hell's Gate, a piece of gum, flattened against the pavement. A wisp of hair pressed into it. Wolf hair. The wolf did this as it passed by.
But where did it go?
To a less trained eye, this would look like randomly discarded trash, but I can see the pattern. The gum has a partial track, suggesting a direction. There, a banana peel kicked and rotated, leaving a trail of slime as it skidded in the same direction the print was headed. It passed through this way, but we need to be sure. A young boy stands alone, tears running down his face. Hey, kid. See anything strange?
Oh, I hate seeing children cry.
He's hyperventilating. I'm not going to be able to talk to him like this if I want to ask him questions. I'm drawing a blank, but judging from how his eyes keep darting around in fear, I'm guessing he saw the wolf. Wait, Nellie likes monkeys. And kids, I think. They're more or less the same thing. Hey, Nellie, that face you were making earlier at the monkeys, think you could make it again?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
She bends down and mimics her expression from before. The kid looks at her, smiles, and stops hyperventilating. That's the ticket. Hey, kid, have you seen something frightening?
A big doggy, big and gray.
Uh-huh, just a doggy. Which way did it go?
That way.
He points down an alley behind Hell's Gate. As good a clue as I've gotten. That's everything. The wolf got out of the cage, ducked down the alley next to Hell's Gate, knocked over a trash can, and scared a kid.
Let's follow it before it gets away.
I head down the alley. Halfway down, along the edge of Hell's Gate, is a trap door. It's fully open, exposing a cavernous dark. Just peeking out, the tip of a ladder. What am I doing? A wolf didn't open this door or climb down a ladder. And if it did, I'd be crazy to follow. But this feels important somehow. Was the wolf really whispering to me earlier? What could it have been saying? I have to know. This is it. I've come this far. No turning back now.
Gia, maybe I should stay here and watch for the wolf? Keep a lookout?
Go look around the circus. I'll be back soon. I crawl down the ladder, carefully testing each step as I go. 10 steps later, I hit solid ground. The dark is a poison cloud filling my lungs. Shadows dance in my periphery. As my eyes adjust, I can see the vague outlines of abandoned objects along the floor and walls. The outline of devil horns along the top of the southern wall evokes the right above. Maybe some older version down in the dark. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. To the east is a set of wooden doors that look like they open inward. Probably the end of the walkthrough, meant to be approached from the other side. To the south is an opening through a devil's mouth, leading deeper into its gullet. The dim lights barely function in here. Ahead of me is a short staircase leading to a dark opening on the far wall. Looking closer, the stairs are flanked by scenes of the damned descending into hell. The steps are old, and the first emits a threatening squeal when I put my weight on it. What am I doing here? Chasing a wolf in the dark down a rotted staircase? This is crazy. To the north is the exit through the devil's mouth, and to the south is an empty, dark doorway. This room is round, almost a circle from what I can tell. My eyes are beginning to adjust to the dark, but only so much. There's a bust of Socrates, Plato, some old philosopher in the center. This must be purgatory. It's not so bad here, really. I can make out a lot of gray. It's a boring sort of damnation. Still might be better than most of the burrows. To the north is a dark, empty doorway. To the east is a bright red door on brass hinges. This room is painted in scenes you wouldn't describe in polite company. Tawdry flesh and skin on full display. I'd almost rather not look closer, but something about the painted scenes draws my eye. So many people. The artist must be saying something here about how easy the second level of hell is to reach. People. Huh. It's strange, but I'm starting to feel like I have real friends. It's been a while. Working as a smuggler is a bad way to meet anyone worth trusting. Maybe this time they'll stick around. To the west is a bright red door with brass hinges and an unusual handle. To the north is something that looks a lot like a restaurant's kitchen door. Back to purgatory. Makes sense, since I hear this is the one circle you can escape. To the north is a dark, empty door. I step back into the room, showing the descent into hell. The rotting staircase threatening to send me there before my time. Just another day, I suppose. To the north is the exit through the devil's mouth, and to the south is an empty, dark doorway. I'm back at the entrance. The ladder sits in the corner of the room, jutting upward in a pool of daylight. To the east is a set of wooden doors that look like they open inward. Seems like I skipped ahead to the end of the attraction. A bit of light spills in from the west, vaguely illuminating the outline of a statue of Caesar with a knife in his back. So I've reached the 9th circle. I've always wondered how many people in my line of work were destined for the lowest depths of hell. For their sake, I'm hoping Dante was wrong, even if they deserve it. Piotr's still kicking around, so I wouldn't see him in here if the lights were on. He still has time for redemption. To the south is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. To the west are a set of double doors leading back to the entrance. To the east is a black velvet curtain hanging in the doorway. The tables in this room are laid out across the floor like a bistro. Piles of rubber food threaten to roll off into the dark. One chair includes a seated mannequin wearing grotesquely stuffed clothes. This is the 3rd circle then, gluttony. Ironically, the rubber food on the tables is mostly fruit. The mannequin's sins must involve a lot of grapes. I hated most fruit as a kid. Not that there was much around, untainted by the wasting. I wonder if what Nellie's doing will help kids in the lowers, even the burrows. It's an opportunity they ought to have. To the north is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. To the south is something that looks a lot like a restaurant's kitchen door. To the east is a wooden edifice resembling a bank. The 2nd circle of hell. I don't remember what Dante said was the worst part of this circle, but I have to imagine it would be the smell. To the west is a bright red door with brass hinges and the 3rd circle. Piles of rubber fruit threaten to bounce menacingly off the floor. To the north is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. To the south, the bank vault door squeaks on the hinge behind me. I assume, kicking at a stack of wooden gold coins in the corner, that this room is supposed to be a hoard of wealth. Must be the fourth circle. It's hard to tell in the dark exactly what happened here, but there's a large amount of debris blocking the center of the space. No going further without a shovel and a few spare hours. Greed. Grow up poor and the notion seems like a distant fantasy. How can you be greedy when you're struggling to survive? These days I'm back to survival, but it's a different sort. One of the electric lights along the wall glows suddenly bright, followed by a soft pop as it shatters. I think I saw something, over on the other side of the rubble. I force my eyes back into focus just long enough to see a cardboard square. There's a record lying against the pile of rubble, but I'll have to try to get it from the other side. The path east is blocked by rubble. Back to the west is a wooden edifice resembling a bank vault door. The third circle. Piles of rubber fruit. To the north is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. The ninth circle. I think I'm feeling chilly. To the south is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. To the west are a set of double doors leading back to the entrance. It's pitch black in here. I feel my way along the wall to get my bearings. My right hand slides over a face? A mask. Rictus grin reaching almost to the top. Similar masks line the walls, clicking softly as I brush by. I can only imagine that whoever designed Hell's Gate had trouble with depictions of fraud. As I make a circuit of the room, I realize that I'm drawing a blank as well. Maybe a nice fresco of Marm, or any of the other deceitful, blood-sucking barons. It's always been amazing to me that any of them managed to swindle their way into power. To the west is a black velvet curtain. To the south is a barely passable hole in the wall that looks like it was caused by a collapse. To the east is a door painted to look like a devil, with a long gold tongue. Ah, this is classic damnation. I can almost smell the brimstone, looking at the painted scenes of boiling blood and allegorical violence. Kids must have been terrified of this room. Maybe some adults, too. Not enough adults, though. Whoever beat the tar out of the wolf I'm after ought to have a comeuppance. If it was Jaeger, well, he did say his animals were from some closed zoo. And me, guns blazing down an Aether road, my enemies careening toward a long drop and a short stop. Forgive me while I wax hypocritical. I wonder if when I go, I'll land fender first in the river of boiling blood. Or whether there's still some hope of redemption. To the west is a door painted to look like a devil with a long gold tongue. To the south is an archway decorated with flames. Stepping through the archway, I'm filled with nerves? Some emotion I'm not placing. Certainly not the rage depicted in the fifth circle. The wolf is close, ahead of me somewhere in the dark. To the north, an open portal from anger to violence. To the south, a stone door made to look like a foreign temple to foreign gods. Something waits for me there. Am I ready? Back in the seventh circle. To the west is a door painted to the darkness of the eight. To the west is a black velvet curtain. To the south is the ninth circle. To the south is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. To the west are a set of double doors leading back to the entrance. I'm back at the entrance. To the east is a set of wooden doors that look like the ninth circle. To the south is a hole in the wall. Looks like the third circle. To the north is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. The ninth circle. To the south is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. The darkness of the eight. To the west is a black velvet curtain. I step through the wrecked wall into a pile of debris. Through the remnants, I see flecks of gold. This must be the other side of the bank vault room. No sign of the wolf yet. Not that I can see much, but it left obvious signs on the way here. Why am I not finding any signs of passage? Not even a scent. And what happened here anyway? Most of this attraction seems whole. Did a sinkhole open and swallow it up? Was there a fire? Why did they leave so much down here in the dark? As I'm considering that question, I spot something laying in the rubble. Huh. Cress should like this. The ways west and east are blocked by debris. To the darkness of the 8th circle. Perhaps it was always like this, to hide the... To the west is a black velvet curtain. To the 9th circle. To the south is a hole in the wall. Looks like it was burned through. To the west are a set of double doors leading back to the entrance. To the east, the darkness of the 8th circle. To the west is a black velvet curtain. To the south is a barely passable hole in the wall that looks like it was caused by a collapse. To the east is a door painted to look like a devil, with a long... Back in the 7th... To the west is a door painted to look like a devil with a long gold tongue. To the south is an... I can feel the wolf. To the north, As I open the temple door, every hair on my body seems to stand up. Like standing too close to an Aether coil. The air is filled with electric tension. Something's here. It stares at me like it's waiting for something. Something important. Who am I? Am I the kind of person who tries to catch my destiny? Force fate to follow my will, even if it destroys everything in my path? Even if it hurts the people around me? Or can I let go? Let something slip through my fingers at the very moment of victory, just because it's the right thing to do? This beast has lived in the dark corners of the world for too long. I could reach out and grab it, bend it to my will. But there's always a point where the cost is too high, and I won't pay it in another creature's suffering. The beast watches me for a long moment, azure eyes unblinking in the gloom. Then I hear it whisper. 1 step, 2 steps closer. What it tells me, I have no heart to repeat. Not to anyone or anything. Never mumbled under my breath beneath the covers of a lonely night, waiting for the fever to break. What it tells me is something I'll take to my grave. And as the words trail off into the shadowy corners of a forgotten carnival attraction, the beast's eyes close. I look at the space where it was, but nothing remains. Not a wisp of hair, not a lingering breath. I found what I came here for. An answer to a question I didn't know I had. And now I know I can let go when I need to. Not failure. A decision made, and a new chance to be who I wish I could. This will be the last time I pass through Hell's Gate, I think. I retrace my steps to the entrance of this ruined pit. I don't know how to feel about any of this. What did I just see? Was it real? Or was it only what I hoped to find? I crawl back up the ladder into the bright day. Nellie walks up, holding a balloon and looking at me expectantly.
So, did you find it?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Gone. It doesn't look like it's going to be part of any show now or ever again. Did you get a chance to look around the circus?
Oh, yes! There's a man over there who can swallow swords. Not just one, Gia. 7 swords! And I just saw a woman wearing a leopard costume who...
As Nellie and I walk away from the trapdoor, I feel an odd sense of calm. Whatever just happened, it could have only gone the way that it did. For the first time in a while, I feel like nothing is watching me. That's a comforting feeling. It's one I think I can live with.
What do you need?
Would you believe me if I said I found this in one of the circles of hell?
You went to hell? Sure, I believe you. As long as you keep bringing me records. Drive safe.
How can I help?
Circus everything you hoped it'd be?
Oh, Gia, it was wonderful. I'd forgotten what a difference getting away from the lab could make. It's too bad you missed the sword swallower and the cotton clouds, though.
It's fine, kid. I got an experience no one else can brag about.
Let me know if there's anything I can do to help.
Miss? You know where to find me.
Hello again. Until next time.
Holding up all right?
Can't imagine the Dufresne situation has been easy.
No. Though I'm relieved that none of our people have been turned, it's a sobering reminder of how close our work brings us to the edge. We've lost good people in White Street. Alex and Maria among them. We know the risks, but I paid the last fare for many of our friends. It never gets easier. Good luck out there.
What do you need? See you soon.
Everyone's assembled to go over the plan. A taut wire of tension hangs in the air, and it twitches reflexively when I enter, like they're all waiting to see how much extra strain my weight will add.
Is everyone here? Good. Gia, the floor is yours.
Okay, we've got Soap Jackson on board, so first step is meeting him outside the casino. He'll set off the fireworks early, which should draw Marm and her guests outside.
The code combination to the Pandemonium Vault changes daily. Every morning, each doe is given a unique combination, all of which unlock it. When we get there, I'll receive my combination and give it to you. Then I'll join the doe escort with Marm.
Hang on. Mom will know it was your combination that unlocked the vault. You'll blow your cover.
By the time she realizes that, it will be far too late. Without her money, Marm's powerless. This isn't just a heist, darling. It's a coup.
Long overdue, if you ask me.
Right. Pandemonium should empty out well enough, but we'll still have security to watch out for. Cress, you're headed to the boiler room.
Yeah, I'll overload the heating system to cover our getaway.
Just try not to blow us all up while me and the crew are still inside, yeah?
Please. Klausner's system is as good as it gets. A perfect time bomb he put in the heart of his own creation.
Luca, you're with me. We'll use Sophie's combination to get into the vault, and your crew can start unloading the goods.
My boys already got clearance for their trucks at the loading bay. Should be simple.
So long as we don't get complacent, darling.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Anything else?
Do we have contingencies? A backup plan? What happens if something goes wrong?
What could go wrong, old sport? It's foolproof.
Despite Apollo's attempt at invigorating optimism, all eyes turn anxiously my way. They're looking to me like I'm a general atop my horse, enemy banners flapping on the horizon behind me. No matter what happens, I'm just glad Apollo will finally have enough money for that nose job.
Honestly, Apollo, I'm surprised you don't poke your co-star's eyes out with that thing.
Et tu, Brute?
Relax, Golden Boy. If anyone here needs their schnoz straightened, it's yours truly.
Right then. Get home safe, everyone. And remember, don't look down.
Sophie, you got a second?
What's on your mind?
What did you mean, coup? What are you planning here?
She won't give up power willingly. So we'll have to tear it out of her hands. I can't control how she reacts.
But you know her better than any of us. She'll still be dangerous, even with an empty vault. Should we expect blowback?
I'm not alone in this, Gia. The Does are my sisters, and I know them better than anyone.
How can you be sure?
I can't. I just know whatever happens, despite our differences, I want my sisters by my side. I have to give them that chance.
Traffic slows to a crawl. Up ahead, armed women in the snappy, pressed uniforms of Marm's enforcers stand between sawhorse barricades topped with spinning caution lights.
By authority of Baron Magdalene Weiss, travelers on this thoroughfare are hereby assessed a temporary convenience fee.
She remains stone-faced through the entire monologue. Like she practiced it dozens of times in a mirror to make sure it sounded sufficiently official. You're barking up the wrong tree. I'm a courier for Herr Brandstetter in Klein-Deutschland, and I've got a trunk full of uniforms for the birthday parade. I'd better get a move on before the dress rehearsal.
You're here on business for Marm. Well, back to work then.
She dramatically waves me past the barricades, and I shoot her a wink as I float by. Pandemonium glows like a phoenix, a modern-day city of gold dedicated to the celebration and expansion of one woman's monstrous wealth. I can't help but hesitate in the face of the splendor. Soap Jackson saunters over with the air of a worksite foreman who's never held a shovel in his life, while laborers bustle to set up Marm's fate. I envy his nonchalance, if not his swagger.
Well, hello, baby. Lovely to see you again.
Are we all set?
Ready and waiting. Just say the word and I'll kick off the party.
As a personal favor for me, as we agreed. Don't tell me you're backing out on me now.
Of course I ain't. But I just can't figure it. Why would you want the schedule changed? What's in it for you, baby?
I need Marm and her cronies out of Pandemonium so I can rob her blind. Soap's face splits in a wide grin and he hoots with laughter. To him, I might as well be wearing grease paint and honking a toy horn.
Whew, I've seen vaudeville acts ain't half as funny as you, baby. Man alive! You really are something special. Well, we can start anytime. Just say the word.
So, what's on the itinerary for this shindig anyway?
You already know about the fireworks. My people tell me we got enough to make the Emperor of Indochina himself green with envy. We got a 16-piece brass band waiting in the wings, too.
Nice. Anything else?
Besides my captivating voice leading us all in celebration of our dear Baron, what else could you need, baby?
So, a bunch of speeches.
Sure, and a ribbon-cutting ceremony, and a champagne christening, and a pile of civic awards. And that's before we go inside.
Great. Feel free to take your time with those speeches, huh? Really savor it.
Marm paid for the best, and she's gonna get it.
You spend a lot of time here?
The casino? Nah, not anymore. Time was, Marm gave me the proper whale treatment. Private tables, open bar, free rooms, you name it.
So what happened?
The more you get to know me, baby, the more you'll realize my attentions are like a wild stallion. Hard to catch and harder to keep.
So you won too much, and Marm kicked you to the curb.
Wasn't like that at all. See, games of chance got a finite store of thrills inside of them, baby. Use it all up, and there ain't nothing left for a man with appetites like mine.
The word. Soap grabs his bullhorn, and in a moment the night air rings with a triumphant march. Above the casino, the sizzle of a dazzling fireworks show sparkles off the underside of the false iron sky.
That oughta really tick her off.
Sophie scribbles some numbers on a scrap of paper and hands it to me.
Here's the combination to my dial. I'm off to join Marm and the Does. Good luck.
You too. See you at the hole. Drinks on me. Sophie takes off, and we push against the current of the crowd towards the casino. Sure enough, there's a hubbub as the wiry figure of Marm exits the casino. A river of gamblers and guests flow in her wake, wearing the annoyed grimaces of people interrupted mid-bet.
Gia?
I clock the security guards at the entrance doors at the same moment Cress does.